Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone joining us from around the world. Welcome to the final day of the first IHF Live Online Symposium. My name is Courtney Gahan. I'm a member of the IHF Media Group and I'm the moderator for this session this afternoon. This afternoon we have 4 translation languages available. We have French, Spanish, Arabic and Russian. This is available only if you are joining us on Zoom. You can find these at the bottom of your screen by clicking the globe icon marked interpretation and choosing the label for your language. Please note that if you need the Arabic translation, you need to choose the label Chinese. This first IHF Live Online Symposium is part of a virtual academy recently launched by the IHF to facilitate global online learning and licensing. And this is just the first step in this virtual academy, so there's plenty more on the way. All of this falls under the umbrella of the IHF Education Centre, available at ihfeducation.ihf.info. This symposium has included a total of 20 lectures. We are now on the second to last one, and you can find all the lectures available on the IHF Education Centre for on-demand viewing. This lecture this afternoon is from IHF lecturer and coach Yerime Sylla and focuses on playing 7 against 6. Please feel free to ask questions throughout the lecture. We will just be stopping at the end to address your questions. And please note this is also being recorded, so you will be able to access it later. And welcome, Yerime. We are ready for you to begin.
Hello, Courtney. Hello, all of you. I don't know if everybody hear me as well. So, and I'm not sure all going to be okay. It's the first, and it's really nice with the situation today. We know all over the world that we can have this advice on a screen with Zoom, and thanks to the IHF to build this academy, it's a good thing. So yes, we're going to talk about playing 7 against 6, and I take this title more than just this short because often we can believe that we just have to put one more player and then it's going to be simple, or it's going to be another thing than handball. So a lot of discussion around it, but then we're going to see. Let's see what's happened before. You know, I'm hope you see the video correctly. Before we are this rule, I pick this. It's not 7 against 6. The situation. It's they don't have a keeper, the team at this moment, but you see they have a bib, training bib, with the same color of the keeper. That's what the rule before, still rule today, but that was the only option we get to play 7 against 6 or put another player without a keeper. But this player is the only one who can change with the keeper, or he can be a keeper also himself. That's why he wore this color, the red color. Proceed, and you see when you lose the ball, can't change. You see, not possibility to change with the keeper who is here. So he go there and be the keeper as well. So I take this situation because everybody knows this kind of rule, this rule, before we change it. And here is success. It's a joke. Andy Schmidt, great player from Switzerland, but good keeper also, which can be maybe something we have to think about for the future. Now, what it is, we change the rule, and you're going to see with the Croatia in attack, they play here 7 against 6. You see, they change with 2 players. They put 2 players on pivot, but nobody wear a bib. Nobody have another color. But in this specification, you have to understand that all players can change with the keeper, but just the keeper can be the keeper at this moment. If we don't wear the same color as the keeper, you can't be a keeper, like we saw in the other video. So we're going to have an explanation about this tactical situation. And as you see, you know, the position of the pivot is defined here, you know. Then the space, 7 space for 7 players are used, and they choose to take a block here. Okay, so it means that in this situation, Croatian team against German here, but Croatian team work on it. They train on it, which is really important because It's not because, as I said, you put 7 players on the pitch that you don't have to work on it. Here clearly you see that the people are going to block the center half defender, and then they're going to find a situation 3 against 2 players easily, of course, because there are 7, but it's done well in good timing, close to the defense. Okay, then he is still dangerous, so he keep this defender on him, and at this moment there is a clear situation for the wing. Okay, but also the back, left back attack can shoot, so there a situation on the wing. So this rule appeared before Rio, but we saw it in Rio, and Rio was a really successful for handball, because just after the football, in terms of audience, spectators, we were the seconds, which is the first time. And the new rule is work pretty good because it's a new situation. We have a suspense with a empty goal, and a new also goal on empty from the pitch, long throw for make goals. So it was really new, and then it was pleasant for handball players and all handball. But now there's a lot of discussion around it, and some coach mentioned that they believe that all time we can play 7 against 6 and win, which is not the case. We're going to see this after with a study. And well, some coaches don't like, because they say that it disrupts the handball. It's not handball anymore, so it's slow. So we can hear many things about it. We're going to discuss, have a big serious discussion about it, and a meeting about it. But I'm quietly agree with Nicola Jakobsen. Like I said before, for me, it's really an option, and we have to work on it. We have to work on it defensively. We have to work on it offensively. It's not just putting 7 players on the pitch, but it's also a good option. Maybe we have to work on it when we play 6 against 5, or because we saw many times now that we don't see so many times, 5 players attack against 6 players. We use these new rules, so it changed a bit in this way. But when we play 7 against 6, we don't have so much now good result with the 7 against 6. Means we have to work on it, and we have to think different. It's an evolution of the game. We have to think different with the players. We're going to see this after. I'm going to talk about it after. As you see, here I take French, and I take French. Here it's rules that the rule is not in favor of France. And we saw also that a lot of coaches don't like in Germany, don't like this rule, and they spoke so much about doing something to maybe not have this rule anymore. I think we get this rule before, as I saw, with special things, and I play this rule with the ancient rules, 7 against 6. I think it's a new way to think. Our chairman, CCM lecturer chairman, Dietrich Spatz, make a study, real study, because we can talk a lot about 7 against 6, but without real statistics. Sometimes statistics make it clear. So here we can see on World Championship 2019 in the World Cup situation of without a keeper. I invite you to read this study on our website. It's about 96 game, 24 teams, and then all the situation was clearly defined, and we saw that, first of all, few teams use the 7 against 6, and it's just one team use it every game in Macedonia. Some teams use it 95% of the time, but not during all the game. And some team 50, and 12 teams barely use it. They don't use it. In international level, we can say that now the teams don't have so much time to work. Players are involved in their club teams. They play a lot of games there, so they come few times, short times before the competition. And I understand that the coach don't have so much time, not so much time to work on it. In club, it's a bit different. If you have the option, we're going to see after that, club choose to make it. So we don't have so much time to work when in an international way. Here you see Macedonia use it, which represents just 4% of all the team. Okay, here Croatia, Bahrain use it also, a little bit more than the others. Then we go down with Germany and go down with Denmark, which is the only team who have a real success in offense when they use it. So all the other teams don't have so much success when they use it. And Danish, yes, specific way we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about it when the player, why the Danish player is better in this situation than the other players from now. Okay, so you see that the other country do not use it so much, and never for 6 teams, never during this World Championship. I take this example because I knew I was a coach in Cesson at this moment in first division in French, Leader Star League. And during this season, 2K16, 2K17, this French coach, Fabien Courcial, used it every game, quietly every game, and he used it. He plays 7 against 6, quietly all the championship. It was special because his team come from the second league to the first league for the first time. And he used a new rule. It was at this moment, you see, 2K16. And he used this rule because nobody trained against. So at this moment, he succeeded to let his team in the first level. And he worked a lot for that. He worked a lot. Each training, he worked this situation. And he have a lot of work, not just technically and tactically. I'm going to show it because I made it with the Belgium team. I was a coach, national coach of Belgium at this moment also. But we have a lot of discussion, him and I, about it. And he succeeds because he stayed in first league. But you're going to see that he loses also a lot of games. He succeeds just because here, the 13 and the 14 go down in the second league, and he finished 12th of this exercise. So Saron stay in first division. So it was for him a success, and you know, it was a success. But the year after, it was not a success. It depends on a lot of things, and 1 year after, he go down in the second league. As we saw in the study of Dietrich, the case of Saron remain exceptional. As I said, in championship you can work on it, but at international level, as Dietrich specified in his analysis, they just use the statistics, this option, in a very specific situation. Saron use it all the games, but it's exceptional. And often we use it as, when it's 6 against 6, after a player takes 2 minutes. Often we use it when we can be 6 against 5. If both teams have an exclusion of for 2 minutes, we can change the keeper and play and in a game situation at the end of the game, maybe, or when I want in a specific situation to score an important goal, maybe I can maybe the team use it, but not often. So, like I say, it's an option, a card, but you have to work on it. I agree. So I said to you, I agree with Nikolai Jakobsen. This rule open new work opportunities. And when you open this box, you open also a lot of things for players. We talk about training players. We talk about training teams. So at this moment, you discover new things, and sometimes it's surprising me when I work on it that in the beginning, when we start to work on it with Belgium, especially, players have a lot of difficulty to play 7 against 6. They are not used to. So it means that it's not so easy. You can find this, it's more cognitive things that when, you know, you always used to, as a little player, you learn handball 6 against 6 many times. You have the connection with the game 6 against 6. And in the moment I play a 7 player, maybe 2 people, often it's 2 people, it's really special for the player to understand what they have to do or what they can do with 7 players. So that's why I think we are in a transition, maybe, and we have to think about more this transition and says, this window, we have to close this window. It's not good for handball. I think it's good for handball. Because for me, I discovered that it's a new way to think. And I can see now that handball, it's not just a physical sport, because we tend to that with strength and conditioning, which is good, but the strength and conditioning progress make our sport, change our sport in a really physical way. And sometimes tactically, players are wrong, but because they are stronger, finally they succeed. So when we want to learn handball, I'm not sure that we want that, you know, just physical player can play handball. We want that player can play good technically and tactically. That's why some players are not so much tired, not so much higher, not so much tall, and they can succeed in handball. I think it's the best way. Okay, so on November, I tell you on November 6th, I play against France with this role. We prepare all the situation of qualification for Euro 2K18. We prepare our team to play 7 against 6, sometimes also 7 against 5. So we train on it in offense, and we have a specific things we show you on a video, and but we have to work on main things with the players, not just technique, tactic, also mental, because it's a new situation for all the team, you know, to attack against 7 against 6, but also with empty goal. It's also not current situation for ego. Some players believe that it's too easy to play 7 against 6. It's not. You have coach who thinks it's not good, but you have also players who are not convinced that it's handball. So you have to talk with the player. You have to involve all your players to play these tactics. So involve with an additional field player instead the goalkeeper was a choice. Clearly a style choice, because we were Belgium and it was the first time, and we want to maybe make a bit like Sarah on the team in France. We want to make a big surprise to our opponents, because we knew also that they're not used to play with this new rule, and they're not used to play all the game with it. So tactically, mentally, cognitively, that was our work. Tactical knowledge. We work a lot of change skills, from offender to defender, from offender to change with the goalkeeper. So when you think like this, you have to think about the best way to throw, which throw option. The player have to recognize the good signal, because if you have a mistake, then it's done. Your goal can't come in the goalie, and they can stop. The goal is empty. So we have to train on the good pass, the good rhythm, the good change of rhythm, and also the good options for players to change, but also to throw. And play on a different intention, disrupt the different organization. Think about which organization, what kind of position for pivot, for example. We work on all this case. The technical knowledge, you have to have some players who can pass in all exchange networks, which means all the key players, all the back, can play with pivot, can play with wing, can play with other backs easily. And they have to vary the kind of pass, you know, pass with a bounce, pass, up pass, low pass. You know, you have to also to vary the range of throw. You're going to see that the best option we take for the playmaker, for example, is not to shoot in extension. It's to shoot mostly to throw with the foot on the floor, but allowed him to change fast, for example. You know, so we work a lot on pace change management. He must have also. We work more mentally, like I told you, with a keeper, but also especially with a keeper. And also with the team, but mostly with the keeper, because it's hard for the keeper to sit on the bench and see sometimes the team take goals and he can't do nothing. It's really hard for him to have a position where he is incapable to stop. He is built for stop ball. He is built to defend his goalie. So it's a goalkeeper. And now we exclude him from the game, and sometimes the situation is frustrated about the situation. So we work a lot with the keeper, Jeff, a really good keeper. He is now in Toulouse, first division team in France, professional. And we work a lot with him and he is clever. We make him understand that, okay, now it's also the job of the offense to make a good job, to not take so much goals in an empty goal. So it's a teamwork. That's why we involve the keeper and the team in our strategy. We involve them, and we make a lot of questions for that. We talk with them about it, and we start 1 year before, like I told you, against Turkey, we start a bit play 7 against him. So when your team follow you, then you can maybe have an option and a chance to succeed with these tactics. So connectively, the game 7 against 6, you can't make this with improvisation. You can't at the moment say, okay, let's go. We put 7 players because it's a new rule, and then we go. Your player must be capable of posing a permanent danger. Because, you know, when you play one more, also 6 against 5, you have to be one more to succeed. If 2 or 3 players do not play good, or not, if they are not danger, if the defense can see that they're just here to make pass, you are not anymore one more player. So they have to feel in the body languages, they have to show that they are dangerous always. And here you see all the player in this static option, all the player are looking for the ball, are ready to take the space for shoot. So you see the defense also, they are involved by what the player do. Even it's a static, and even it's a picture, it's a static of the game. And you see all the players are involved, fighting for position, be ready in defense. The 06 defense, you see that you have 7 spaces. Okay, so it means that 7 players have 1 space. We choose the options to not move around, to not move so much around. And we start basically to say to the player, you have 1 space, and then if this space is covered, then pass. If it's not, then go shoot. It was simple, but these simple things was really hard to put on the pitch and to play well. So, as you see, my player must be capable to shoot. And when he put this danger, he involve all the team here in front of him. And he must be capable of, by say, I'm going to shoot, he can pass here to him. He must be able to make a good pass here. But he must hide his intention for that. For the back, it's the same. You must be able to do this. So the playmaker must be able to pass everywhere in the pitch. To the pivot also. And to the wing at the end, directly. So if you don't have the player who is capable of this, it's more hard to put in danger, to involve the defense in front of you always. It's really more difficult. Then you can't say that you have really the option to play this. If you don't have that kind of players who are capable, if you don't work on it, you can't succeed with a 7 against 6. Because if the defense read this player and they know his intention, now it's done. So player must be capable, we're going to see on the video, to play really close to the defense, to hide his intention, to play with him, to make him comfortable the defense. So now we're going to see in a video what I'm talking about. Against 6-0, you're going to see this player. Okay, now you're going to see him shoot. Okay, you're going to shoot. And if he say, I can shoot, then everybody must be ready to defend on him. If it's just a player who pass, then it's not 7 against 6 anymore. So I told to my player, basically, you must say to the defense, I can shoot. You can see in the activity, the pass, the change of pass, the pace, rhythm, really different. And always put the danger. I can shoot here now. Come with me. Here you see, you stay, try to hide till the end his intention. Up, and then open a space for him. Here you see, fast, up, stop, up. You see, this space is now really open. Okay, with the activity of pass, but also the dribble is useful now. It was useful. Okay, the wings really large in their space. And now the back. Okay, if the back don't take the situation, it's the same thing. When the space is open, the back must take it. And you know, at this moment, collectively, we in this game, you can see this game on YouTube. In this game, quietly always, the playmaker can, even when he shoots, the playmaker can change with the goalkeeper. Of course, we succeed. So we choose to shoot really close, to have a really good opportunity to shoot. We choose to clearly shoot close, 6 meters, 8 meters shoot. Then the playmaker know that the player gonna shoot. We say to the player, we work on it. It's really difficult. It's one player like this want to shoot 9 meters without reason. So you can't, even he score, you can't have the time to change. So we also train on it. See, come close. Now we know because he's on 6 meters. The back choose to shoot on 6 meters, which is good. With the pivot, the same. Hide my intention, okay, and use all kind of pass to play with the pivot also. Wait, come close. See? See, try to find the good opportunity, come here to shoot, and at the end, between the legs, on the free space for the pivot. Same with the other pivot. Up. So you see on the activity, because of him, because he succeed on the pass, he succeed also on the shoot. Now the defender sometimes tries things, try to make more things. So your player must be clever and take his time to find a good situation. Collectively with the wings. When those guys want to anticipate it on the pass, your playmaker must be capable of passing on the wings directly. But also collectively, your backs must be able to feel this situation as well and see that this one is free. See? When he is like this, he takes a lot of information around him. Okay, it seems that he go really fast, but it takes a lot of information to find the best situation. And at this moment, look, he see him. If he pass without seeing him, it's done. See how he is close to the defense, but because of many of his options, it's really hard to the defender to come on him because his arm is free, far from him. So if he come on him and jump on him, he get the solution behind this player. This one, try to catch the ball, and he lose. Against 5-1, you see, you not have the same position of pivot. Why? Because now it's a good option defensively. When you have 7 players against you, this one is blocked this space. So the playmaker can't attack directly like he can in 06. So now he can't really shoot because he always have a defender on him. So we can't put the pivot on the same position. Okay. If we put the position in, now that your key players, like we saw also in the Portugal made it also against 6-0. Okay, they make a really good championship. The Portugal use it, you saw it, and it was Magalhães, a good left back here, was Magalhães who played this situation with the pivot here. And we saw also Croatia who put the pivot just with the wing defender here, the number 1 defender here, number 1, number 2, they put here. So the key player now, we choose this player to be the key players at this moment. So it's him now who have the situation here, you see, with the wing. They are in this situation, in this whole area, there are, 3 against 2. So he have a choice, and he make the choice for the team. He have the pivot. But also, as I said before with the playmaker, he must show that he is able to shoot. Because if he start to make 2 succeed pass with the pivot but never shoot, at this moment the defense is going to adapt and they're going to win. Because this one can disrupt, okay, all the passes here, all the ball circulation, and then you get in trouble. Here we choose to change, It's more difficult for the right-hander. We have a right back who is right-hander. So we choose to make this movement and this movement with the wings to have a left-hander, and it's more easy for him to pass by being dangerous. You see here, then around him, because he's left-hander, go also able to shoot, as they know him, and they know the French team know him. They know that he is able to shoot quietly as a back. So you see them, 4 players are around the ball. We let a lot of space here. And when he engage at this moment, okay, we knew at this moment that he can shoot. So immediately, you know, the reaction of him is to go, because he's far, to go and change. And when you show that, then everything is open. Yeah, I think there's a little problem. This, we saw it. So we use also 7 against 5, which is not appropriated, but on this game we try really to disrupt the French team, and we succeed, because at the end we just lose by 1 goal, and unfortunately for us, the playmaker who make a really good game, I think he scored 7 goals, was excluded. He take a red card, and then it changed a little bit the game. But without this, maybe it was another situation, another score, and maybe we can win this game. So, but we really work on to take this option seriously, not just like a little option, or not just like something which is not appropriate for handball. You saw that also it's not static. Some coaches say that it's put static situation. No, you have to work a lot. You have to work a lot with the rhythm, work a lot with the throw, work a lot in the option you're going to take for throwing the ball and score and shoot and score goals. For also the movement change. It's changed also the way you must train your keeper, because then your keeper run a lot more than they are used to. So for strength and conditioning part at this moment, for physical part with your keeper, you must have a goalkeeper who is able to run a lot of time in the game and still be in shape and still be able to stop goals. But you know, then for me, you need to have good players to make this rule to make this rule succeed. If you don't have the player who is able to do all of this, this 7 against 6, it's like better play 6 against 6 at this moment. So you see that handball is in a little evolution now. We saw with the Danish, but Dietrich Spatz, and I spoke about it, but he'll also mention it in his study. And he mentioned that now we saw, I talk about the Danish player especially, they are able to change direction, to play really close to the defense. We stand up from 0, go really fast, shoot immediately, always dangerous, capable of, like the player we saw in Belgium, capable of many things. A player like Hansen is capable to pass to everywhere. He is capable to play in all positions on the back line. He is capable of a lot of things. So now physical part, one-on-one, fighting, it's an option in handball, but I think it's start to be done now. You need to have a high level of techniques now. And when you build 7 against 6, maybe for young, it's not during the game an option, but when you build on a training with the young, you build them more technically than physically. The physical, it's another way. You can give them the physical by working on the gym. It's not a problem. We have a lot of good strength and conditioning coach now. But to build tactically what we saw now, it's a lot of work. But when you build, it could be a really good option to put 7 against 6 also on training for young, to build this, to build the ability, technique ability to pass close to the defense, to change rhythm, change pace, to manage the change pace, to manage all the kind of passes. And I think it's really, really good to find a new situation on a training for young. So thank you very much. So if you have now question, I'm ready for that. I'm ready to hear about your question. I'm sorry again for the technical situation when it was closed. I hope you hear me, everybody.
Yes, we can hear you fine. We have a few questions.
Yeah.
So they're quite specific questions. Somebody asked where, if you play this with 2 line players, where do you recommend positioning them to maximize the efficiency of?
Yeah, the pivot. We saw that we put the 2 pivot. I put the 2 pivot between the number 2 and 3 and the number 4 and 5 during all the game. We work on it, and I don't want to work many situations, because like I said before, with national team you don't have so many occasions to work. So, but we saw Portugal change position and have a really succeed. It depends also of your players, the ability of your players. In Portugal, Magalhães, I mentioned it, is really good to play this situation, and then the coach put the pivot between 1 and 2 on defense, and the defender 4 and 5, and it was a really good success. As a French, I was not so happy because Portugal beat France like this. So yes, you have many options, but first of all, you have to adapt to the quality of your players. Which player you can be the key player of this situation, and at this moment, put the pivot around him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then someone else has asked, at what point in the attack should the change for the goalkeeper to come back on start? And do you recommend a particular position player change with the goalkeeper, or does this not matter?
I think it's a matter that the player who are close to the bench, first of all, must change. And you have to work on it also on a training. You have to work the real situation. I choose also a fast player. If you choose a slow players, it's hard to change with the keeper. So we put a number. You know, you have not just one, but we know that in priority, this player change, and after the second player can change, and if 1 and 2 can't change, then the third player change. Mm-hmm. And some coach choose some movements to put always a player for change. That was not my way of thinking and the way we work. So my playmaker was the one who changed always. Why? Because then I can talk with him about the situation, have a feedback with him about the situation we just lived before, and he was a key player. So I like that my key player changed with the keeper.
I'm just curious, you mentioned that you should only use this tactic if you have the players who are able to do it. And you've mentioned some particular players, Magalhães from Portugal, and also, as you pointed out, Denmark are very good at this. And I think the one reason for this is Landin is very quick. Yeah. Can you talk a bit about the qualities of the players, that what coaches should? What is
yes,
the
clearly you must have a player who is able to have a lot of quality of throwing the ball. First of all, they must be able to, like a bit you find in American football. You know, a quarterback a bit. Mm-hmm. He's able to make a decisive pass, decisive assist, and because he knows this pass is clearly an assist, then he can change. You know, he manages because he's always, if you have a player who just is spectators of what we done, he make a pass and just look, it's too late. Even he score, the keeper can score in an empty goal. So you have this kind of player must be really capable of changing role faster, but manages, anticipating. So he needs to throw the ball on the floor most of the time. You saw my players don't jump so much to throw the ball. Then because they have the foot on the floor, they can change faster. And then he must be able to have this kind of shoot, for example. And also he must be able to pass for all the pitch, all the player on the pitch.
Okay, there are just a few more coming in, so I'm just reading.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a few people have asked the front line. Can you maybe explain what you mean by the front? I'm just talking to the people asking the questions because I don't know exactly what they mean by this. If people can just clarify these questions about the front line, then we can talk about them. Then just looking at some other questions. Someone asked about passive play when you're playing this strategy.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular you need to pay attention to?
So the front line is, I talked mostly about the front line of defense, what we have in front of us. If we have 6 players in front of us, or if we have 5, a player who block the playmaker, what you do, or where the position of the PO. That was, I use this for that. Yeah, but it's a French translation sometimes. Yes, maybe I understand that you don't understand. So it's a defense in front of me. How they are organized, 5-1, 0-6, 3-2-1, and then which option I take. And for also passive game, we don't have so much passive game because we try always to put the ball in life, to be dangerous, and to put a lot of movements. Like we saw in this game, and you can see this game in YouTube. You're going to see that there's a lot of activity. And when you have a lot of activity, not passive activity, referee are involved. You take referee with you also. So they try to look what they do. And you see that also the defense was really involved in what we do. So they must also, it's not passive, I mean static game. I'm not agree with this, with coach who say it's really static. If you must put energy to succeed.
Someone asked about playing things like a cross when you're doing the 7 against 6. This is maybe less, can you talk about these kinds of strategies in this?
Yeah, we saw Macedonia, and Dietrich Spat mentioned that they are not so, they play a lot in 2K19, they play a lot situation 7 against 6. It was the only team, I mentioned it also, that play this. And they try often to make a movement, back movement, but for me, the movement, you put 6 against 6 movement to play 7 against 6, which is for me not useful. Mm-hmm. Because at this moment, it could be passive, because the players start to make the movement instead of be dangerous. Mm-hmm. You must show to the defense that we are one more. And then it's up to you to move, not to us. And you're going to give us the solution. We try to come closer to you, closer as possible, and play. And then you have to move really fast. If we start to make movements, for me, in my opinion, then you give defense to rest and to wait. Finally, to just wait about what you're going to do. And if at the end of this movement, the guy who have the ball is dangerous, then we know we can go with 2 players on him. So when you are all in front of your space and dangerous and you can shoot, it's really different for the defense. That's why I don't put movement. Against Norway, we start with movements, mm-hmm. and we really not succeed.
Okay. And someone asked, is the preference would be to finish attacks with the backcourt players, or I think they mean line player and wing players. Is there a preference?
I prefer with line player, really. So in the ability of your players, they must able to play with the line players. They can make all kind of pass with them. which is really important. Why? Because when they have the ball, we know that when the line player have a ball, it's often 7 meters forward, or they can shoot. And also, it's really more easy to recognize when the line player go to shoot. It's when you have the ball, you can change with the keeper. So for me, the best things to play in offense, it's with them. But of course, if the defense adapt and stay with the line player, we must be able to shoot at this moment. But I prefer the pass with the line players.
Kind of related. So someone asked if the defense is focusing on the backcourt, so let's say 3-2-1 or 5-1 defense, can you talk about, is it ideal to use a back to replace the goalkeeper, or would you maybe do 2 line players in this situation?
I think I prefer to play with the 2 line players. Most of the time, my line player, it depends the organization of your team. But in my case, my 2 line players are also defender. You have to think when you play 7 against 6, also not just about changing with the keeper, but also you must put a defense. So you must have your good defender be able to go back and just have to defend. And also with the 2 line players, it's better for me because you keep a bit, the team can't go out so much. If you have just 1 line player, then maybe you can have an option with taking 1 players. Then when they take 1 players, it's more hard to have a good pass, throwing pass, and it's really hard to give movement to the defense. It's more harder. With 2 line players, it's better. And also, if it's 5-1, 7 back, you don't have so much space to play. You're gonna have a short pass, and which means nothing. It's better when you go in. I play one time before with the ancient rules. I play 1 hour with 7 against 6 with my team Dunkirk at this period. I was coach of Dunkirk. We play against Patrick Canaillé, you saw it on the 18. And I play against Montpellier in French Cup. We play 7 against 6. I play with a line player who was a back, and then he go in, and we start to move around him. We put a lot of trouble with him, but this line player, then when he move and when we start, he go because he have to change with the keeper. But I prefer to play, yes, with line player. For me, you have more option than if you play with back.
Okay, we have someone asked about some teams use this. You mentioned this, I think, during the lecture also, that when some teams play this, they go very close to the defense. And maybe play more slowly. What is your opinion about this? The distance from the defense, I suppose, is the main question.
I think it's really, really problematic when you are a defender to a player who is close to you. But if you are one-on-one, it's not a problem. But if you have a line player just around you, you can't do what you want. If he is close to you with the ball in his hand, you can imagine if I go, I'm late. You see me, he is in front of me, and it's quietly, he can see all my intention. He can read all my intention. That's the problem we put when we play close. And because we have 7 players, it's more easy to play close also. And then it's also more easy to shoot, to throw with my feet on the floor, to throw really fast the ball, and to disrupt the defense by changing my rhythm of pass also. So I give more activity to the defense, and the defense at the moment, the defense must do something. And we saw on the video and the moment when we are close, we just look like this, we just stop, and the one in defense try to take the ball, to catch the ball, and the playmaker still have the ball in his hand, and he can easily pass to the wing. So yes, it's a lot of work to have this kind of player to also put in the mind of player that you don't have to take the ball and make one-on-one like with a lot of speed. It's a lot of work, but for me it's really good to change the way technically and tactically you change the way the players see the handball, and you give them also a good option.
Okay, now the there are a few questions less about the attack specifically. Some people have asked about defense. What system is the most difficult if you have in your head to beat 7 against 6?
Yes, of course I think about it. I think about the system, the best system. For me, it's 3-1. The old 3-1, Stenzel 3-1, and Yugoslavian 3-1. Because now in 3-1 you have a lot of activity, but you have one player. First of all, one player is in front, and he block the playmaker. Then the playmaker is far, and it's hard for him to score. He have to move, and also he disrupt all the circulation of the ball. Okay, because then to pass to the playmaker, you saw that I use my right my right wing. Remember, I tell you to have the left hand to pass, because it starts to disrupt the circulation of the ball, and also this one give time, because the ball not go too fast. It gives time to the serve down to always put 3 against 3 with a line maker. So then you have in front this player, and this player give time to him to move and to not be 4 against 2 or 3 against 2. Then for me, 3-1 is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Individual, you can't, because man to man, there are 7, you are 6, so you must put zone.
Mm-hmm. Just related, do you think that there is a defensive system that is easier to beat with 7 against 6?
Yeah, 6, of course, 6-0 man to man, really easy. If you have and a bit static. Even 6-0 zone, it's also difficult for 6-0, because they allowed you to come close when you are 6-0. So it's really hard. You have time to prepare, more time to prepare your 7 against 6.
Okay, and for now, the last one, unless there's going to be any more coming in. Well, someone just asked about the pressure for the goalkeeper during this substitution. Can you speak a bit about this aspect?
Yeah, you like I mentioned, it's for me it was the key part with my goalkeeper, to involve him in the strategy, because keeper most of the time keeper want to stop ball. They are built for that. So if you tell him now you're gonna sit on the bench, just change, run, and just sometimes see the ball go in your empty goal, it's really hard. You have to work with him, and you can also take. It depends of the character you have. It could be also a part of leaderships. You can give him leadership about the situation, and he is involved also physically, because you change the way you have to be prepared to run a lot. But yes, you must really work with your goalkeeper more mentally than the other part, and he must accept that is the teamwork, and it's a way to succeed. I don't have a problem with him, but I knew that he was really open-minded. But if even it's physically he's not able to do it, too fast, too slow, it happens sometimes. It changes also the way we work with them. Then it's hard to convince him if he feel physically not able to, or mentally not able to take a goal in empty goal. You have to be careful, because sometimes the keeper can say to you, yes, I'm involved, but in reality, when he saw you destroy him mentally, when he saw too many goals in empty goals, and he can't do nothing. So you have to be sure that he's ready for that.
All right, that's the last question. So then I think we will stop there. Thank you so much, Yerime. I hope this...
Thank you so much.
I think everyone, we've got a lot of positive comments thanking you for the explanations. So everybody, we have the final lecture in the first IHF Live Online Symposium coming up. That will be at 3 o'clock European summertime, and so that's about 50 minutes. And just a reminder, that is from the PRC Chairman Ramon Galejo and CCM Chairman Dietrich Spatter about new proposals for rule and game development. So we'll see you again then, and thank you for joining us now. Thank you again, Yuri.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.